guys, Ben with the Mercenary King here with the budget deck. I'm going to be giving to the local shopkeep as something that can be lended out, as well as it can be easily created by materials that any experienced player should have at hand, and to be able to create decks for people without much fuss. The goal of the deck is to be, about $30-$40 or less, yet still be very functional. And I believe this deck it's based around giving power to your rear guards and then restanding them by various means, or just keeping up the assault of grade 2s, that sort of thing. Starting out, we have our Shining Knight Milius. Counter blast 1, put this into the soul. Search your deck for 1 grade 2, call it the rear guard circle. Shuffle deck. This can be used any number of ways, but I might recommend picking up Starlight Violinist to pick up another grade 2. For G break 1, in other words, this deck will run on strides. Fortunately, there are cheaper things coming out, that can really benefit players, as well as the fact that strides are dropping in price. I know that Harmonix Messiah is only about $3 or $4 or so. Last I checked, anyway. I bought mine for $5 a piece. I like them over Atmos personally, but some people like Atmos. However, this deck is a little counterblast heavy, and there's not any on flippers still for Royals, so you gotta be careful. Can't use those counterblasts. But this is a good thing. Might be better in this deck to put it off to the side, as there are some 10k boosters in this deck. For heals, now this is the triggers are a generic template for draw that you can switch with anything. I'm using stands because there's on-hit abilities, as well as the fact that the rear guards gain power. For Seeker Bouquet Paros, it's a horse, but that didn't come into this choice. Retire this unit when an attack hits a Vanguard during the battle this unit boosted. You may pay the cost. By the way, he doesn't need to boost a rear guard. He just needs to boost somebody. You may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for 1 grade 1 or less card. Call it to rear guard as tapped shuffle deck. That's pretty good for getting out, another rear guard or, something that can work. It's really supposed to work with Seekers and being Legion back into the deck, but that's not really an option here. Didn't really like the Legions, and the Shinies were difficult to get, not because they were cheap, but because nobody really had them. So I decided to go this way, non-shiny as possible. Point is, he's from BT16, so there should be plenty of him running around your local meta. Silent Sage Sharon. Put this unit into the soul. Choose one of your Royal Paladins plus 3k. This is actually one of the older cards in the deck, along with the Kane, BT05, but, her into soul to give something power really works. Also, this deck does use some soul, so this sort of helps keep you up top. You know what I mean? Just give you that little extra edge. For Rainbow Guardians, probably the cheapest of all perfect shields out there. For Royals, though there are very, very cheap ones out there. This is from the trial deck. You buy 2 trial decks, you get 4 Rainbow Guardians. You could also just buy 2 trial decks and mash them together, but we're assuming people aren't that smart. This is one of the better ones, I feel, because it can also guard rear guards against Dote and the like. Then we have Gigantic Shot Putter. There's 4 of these. 4 of these. G break 1. In other words, you need to have stridden at least once. Counterblast 1. Retire this unit. Choose 2 units plus 5k. He's nice because the winning image of the deck is giving out power, and then using that power to beat in face, and then standing again for more power. Really good like that. 3 Knight of Shield Bash. This is for early game rush. 7k plus 2k until end of turn when it attacks a Vanguard. Not really bound by G break or anything like that. That was actually kind of cool. So it's just good for a rush. Put out 3 of these. There's a Shadow Paladin version that's pretty good the same way. two 10k boosters on G-Break 1. This isn't really to boost the strides, it's to boost your Vanguards. Your Vanguards themselves don't really get much power, and you shouldn't be putting power on the Vanguards. You can do it with if you put crit triggers, I guess, but this is just to help hit 21k. I do know that if you hit 21k very often during your attacks, you put more pressure on the Vanguard, because most of them are 21k, and even then, a 10k shield from a cross ride is still better than nothing. This can be summed out any number of ways. That one, Sand Trigger, Akane, and a couple other things. Always good to have a 10k booster when you're not sure what else to run. 4, Agreement Seeker Minprius. He's good in the sense that he searches out grade 3s. Counterblast 1 with this unit attack. It's a Vanguard. Look at the top 5 cards. Search for a grade 3. Reveal it to your opponent. Put it into hand shuffle deck. Good card like that. Really good card. Because it pays for strides. Counterblast 1, you can add a stride to hand. That's nice. There aren't going to be many strides in this deck, but still. Then we have 4 Breeds. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, plus 3k. Just a solid card. If you give it plus 5k, it becomes its own column. If a booster, like say a 7k behind it, that's a 24k. That'll hit cross rides, anything really. And a stand will boost it beyond 21k. So that's basically the reason why he's here. G-Break 1, of course. And now these 4 slots, you can do whatever you want with. I chose, because I do have the resources, and I can, I know a guy, to do it like this. 2 Starlight Violinist, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Well, this unit is placed on either a Vanguard or a Rearguard circle. Search for a grade 2 not named Starlight Violinist. Call it the Rearguard circle, shuffle your deck. This is good early game. All of a sudden you summon out, say, a Minprius, or, even the 12k attacker, even though he's useless at grade 2, just to sort of set up for the future, as well as to keep up that early pressure. A good way to fill out a column. Akane is one of the it's a really important card, honestly, up until, I want to say, Jewel Knights, and even after that a little bit, when you play non-Jewel Knights, that is. Counterblast 2, when you place Vanguard or Rearguard, you may pay the cost. If you search for 1 Royal Paladin High Beast, call it to Rearguard Circle Shuffle deck. Basically, you use her to summon out this guy. Put it into the Vanguard booster slot. And she's a really good card, honestly, but this deck is a little Counterblast heavy. You want to use her if you want to have some emergency field in the grade 1 lineup. Just sort of to help hit numbers better. And also, it preserves hand, and this deck doesn't really give you much hand advantage. Then we have 2 Vanguards. We'll start with the less important one. This is Marianus. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, G-Break 1. This unit attacks a Vanguard. Pay the cost, and if you do, search for a grade 2. This could be anything. Maybe a Starlight Violinist if you have no field thanks to a Narukami or Kaguro player, or maybe a 12k attacker for that power, anything. At the same time, he's got clearly defined limits to him that I think make him excellent for a starting Vanguard for a new player. The Soul Blast 1 was placed on Vanguard circle. You may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 card from your hand, call it to Rearguard circle, choose one of your units, give it plus 5k until ensure. And again, this helps the winning image of the deck. If you feel it's better, you can just keep on rewriting him, Soul Blasting, and giving things plus 5k. You can rewrite him, give something plus 5k, and then Stride gives something plus 5k. I just remembered that there is a promo Stride called Giron, who gives things plus 5k too. So I think I'll be looking into him as a Stride for this deck, but we'll worry about that in a bit. The other 4 cards are Knight of Greatspear. Again, a rare, G-Break 1, choose up to 2 of your units, Counterblast 2, they get plus 5k. And then when this unit is placed on Vanguard Rearguard Circle, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, search for a Greatspear, call it to Rearguard Circle, shuffle deck. Again, this deck has a bit of grade 3 clearing, as well as a bunch of other stuff here that sort of thins out the deck, as well as make sure that there's a lot of power being distributed throughout the system. Personally, I like Knight of Greatspear. I think it's pretty good. You suddenly have, let's say you have 2 in the front row. That's a 16k right here, 16k right here, and then maybe a 7k booster. That's 23k. You know, that hits numbers. And that assumes that you haven't really done anything else. Let's say that your opponent has like no hand and is at 5 damage. You know, thanks to a lot of lucky stands or whatever. Boosting, you know, the rear guards to plus 10k each is also a good strategy. Simply because plus 10k, you know, to your front row is just astounding, especially if you have, you know, 2 9 Greatspears, that's 21k column now counting boosting, as well as other things. Now, I don't have any Girons, partly because I personally didn't need them, but he's basically, you place him on stride, place a card plus 5k until end of turn, similar to how various others do it. But and he would be ideal, honestly. I'm going to look into getting some of him for the deck to make sure that there are enough strides running around for this deck to function, as well as for G assist, because new players, you know, they don't shuffle right at all. But overall, it's a fantastic deck. Really solid, no major weaknesses except for resource management. But then again, if you put someone in a scarce resource environment, they will learn how to use resources. This deck should have at least 2 strides for 1 G assist. However, if you are feeling generous, you can do 2 to 4. However, this is up to the individual player. This is a template for others to use. Personally, that's how I'm going to be playing it, and I think it'll go pretty well. Alright, this has been Wheeler the Mercenary King, here with my first Royal Paladin budget deck. Hope to debut it at Yeti in a bit. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, guys. Ben Wheeler the Mercenary King, signing out.